Want to say about this incident, the attention it's gotten, where you're at?
Well, we certainly recognize that this use of force has gotten an unprecedented amount of scrutiny from the public, and we understand why. There's a dramatic film of it, and people have legitimate questions as to whether or not we behaved lawfully and within policy, and if we behaved within policy, whether it was still reasonable. We have to do an investigation. That investigation has to be methodical, and that means time-consuming. I understand the drumbeat. People want immediacy. They want, the half-hour resolution that they might be used to on a television fiction show. But we have an obligation to the defendant in the charges. We have an obligation to the officer involved. We have an obligation to the community, and an obligation to other officers who use force, that they'll believe that we're going to go through this sensibly, thoughtfully, and get all the facts. And when we do, we'll share them. And we've said we would do so from the very beginning.
Is there anything that you see on there that is inherently a violation? I mean, people are saying, well, is it okay to hit someone that way or hit someone in the head? Or is there anything inherently that strikes you as against your policy?
Well, we need to understand two things. First and foremost, the use of force by the Milwaukee Police Department is a rare event in the context of an arrest. As you just heard the ACLU quote the Fire and Police Commission report, 1% of arrests result in a use of force. We also have to keep in mind that the use of force is seldom pretty. Right? It's not a pleasant thing to use force, and the police are lawfully authorized to use force by law and society in order to secure compliance with lawful commands. Those are the two facts. How those two facts apply in this case is what we have to examine carefully. And we can slow the film down, we can play it backwards, we can look at it from 4 different directions. It's not always an easy thing simply from the film. And so we have to interview people and take testimony and follow through, and that's what we're engaged in.
You've talked before about the complaints to the Fire and Police Commission during your tenure here. Would you like to talk about that?
Well, I mean,
the numbers.
We recognize the interest in this and the expectation that the police department will get to the bottom of it. What I ask the public not to do is to leap to judgment. I think we've got a good track record of investigating complaints. I note that complaints have been declining over the last 4 years, despite an increase in police activity. That's a good thing. I note the use of force is still a rare event. That's a good thing. But I also recognize that regardless of our overall performance, when people have questions about a specific incident, they expect us to get it right, and we only get one chance to get it right. I don't get to correct myself 2 weeks later. We've got to get it right, and that requires a level of diligence that may seem frustratingly slow to people, but it's necessary nonetheless.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your time. We appreciate it.